Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed from Germany, where he attended the G7 summit on the invitation of German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Prime Minister Modi departed from Munich after 2 hectic days of bilaterals and discussions on climate change. From here, he's headed to the UAE, where Prime Minister Modi will pay his condolences on the passing away of Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, former UAE President and Abu Dhabi ruler.
संयुक्त अरब अमीरात के लिए निकल चुके हैं। ये देख रहे हैं सीधी तस्वीरें हम आपको म्यूनिख जर्मनी से दिखा रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री का बेहद महत्वपूर्ण दौरा, वो संयुक्त अरब अमीरात अब यहाँ से जाएंगे और वो वहाँ संयुक्त अरब अमीरात के पूर्व राष्ट्रपति और अबू धाबी के शासक शेख खलीफा बिन जायद अल नाहयान के निधन पर व्यक्तिगत संवेदना व्यक्त करेंगे।
Now on Monday, Indian Prime Minister's camaraderie with the G7 world leaders was on full display as he held a series of bilaterals on the sidelines of the summit. The moment which grabbed eyeballs was when US President Joe Biden approached Prime Minister Modi, tapped him on the shoulder as he chatted to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a special session on climate change as well. He pushed back against the suggestion that developing countries cause more damage to the environment. Prime Minister Modi said that India, which is home to 17% of the world's population, accounted for only 5% of the global carbon emissions. He also said that access to energy shouldn't be the privilege of only the rich. Prime Minister Modi also met German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on the sidelines of the G7. The two sides discussed climate action, agreed to deepen trade and investment. Now, this was the second meeting between the two leaders this year following India-Germany intergovernmental consultations on May 2nd. Prime Minister Modi also met South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. The two welcomed the WTO agreement supporting production of COVID vaccines in developing countries. The Indian leader also met his Canadian counterpart Justin Trudeau and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. The Prime Minister gifted each of the leaders something unique from India, while Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau got a hand-knitted silk carpet, while Italian Prime Minister got a marble inlay tabletop. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson got a platinum-painted, hand-painted tea set, while President Biden, he received a gulabi meenakari brooch and cufflinks. For more on this, our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal has sent us this report from Munich. Listen in.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's participation at the G7 was indeed important, given the fact that India is a large economy in the global south, and its voice does matter when it comes to global affairs. The Indian Prime Minister participated, Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated for the third time at the G7, and clearly his focus was on climate change. He proposed certain measures and, of course, highlighted how it should become part and parcel of a lifestyle. But we saw a lot of informal moments with President Macron, with President Biden, moments, of course, that showed that how there was a personal chemistry that exists between the Indian Prime Minister and world leaders. He had bilaterals as well. The Canadian bilateral was interesting, given the fact that relationship between Ottawa and New Delhi hasn't been faring very well last 2 years. We saw the relationship seeing a lot of friction. The Canadian Prime Minister had made comments during the farmer protest in 2020, and that had led to India summoning the then Canadian High Commissioner to India, Nadir Patel. So largely it was a packed day for the Indian Prime Minister here in Germany yesterday, and focus from the Indian side was to increase engagement, particularly when India is going to host the G20 next year. And that is why the meeting with the Indonesian president was also another standout, given that Indonesia hosts G20 this year.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.